on top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too. Let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too. Let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charge off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers. Break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah. Now let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. I'm ready. Are you ready, ready? I'm ready. Let's get it started. Yeah, yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Let's go. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Give me something new. Time to break it loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Yeah, let's get it, get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Ready to go here for the next round of the playoffs of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group, and it is time to get it started with the round of 8 playoffs opener. 8 will become 4 to Vegas to decide the champion, and it all starts at a new venue. First time ever tonight. We're at the Worldwide Technology Raceway between St. Louis and Madison, Illinois, in the virtual iRacing simulator, and it is under the lights as we welcome you to cover to the Gateway 175 here on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. And also, Samuel, we have a milestone, just going back and checking Facebook memories. Today is also the 1-year anniversary that the Community Radio Network has simulcasted audio of iRacing from LSRTV. So that's quite a milestone mark as well. Samuel, always fun working with you, buddy.
Oh, absolutely. That's an incredible mark to get to. It's crazy. I think the whole entire time I've been working here, CRN has been a partner with LSRTV, and it's been a blast to be a part of that partnership. And gosh, I cannot believe it's been a year already, but now it's time for the drivers to get prepared for that of Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway. Wesley, we got a preview of this race back on Friday night with the ARCA Series, and that's when we got to see Sean Breisman dominate in his victory. But here tonight, been hearing a lot of rumblings through that of the garage, a lot of drivers feeling concerned about tonight's race. It is an extremely loose car out of the exit of the corners, and drivers have been having a handful trying to understand how to properly handle these cup cars here at Gateway.
We'd like to welcome you people that are joining us into Gateway. Normally we have like the open camera introduction and showing Samuel and myself. Unfortunately, I had a face injury this morning, and I have not quite recovered from it yet. My dog decided to slay my face and kind of scratch the side of my face, lip, chin, and there's a lot of bruising and still some a scar, if you will. So Scarface Wesley is here tonight, along with Samuel Dyer. But other than a little sore, peroxide's been put on it. I'm okay. But just so I don't horrify anybody, as it is the Halloween season, Samuel, we have decided not to be on camera.
Yeah, now we got to decide, do we want to keep that for future as October continues to roll
Scarface,
through? Scarface is here. Um, but,
standing off to
Wesley,
my little friend.
we're happy that you're safe, but now it's time for all the jokes to happen about how it's October and you're Scarface now.
I guess it's gonna be my. I guess it's gonna be my Halloween costume. I guess Charles has already picked one out for me. So yes, but anyhow. We're going to tell you what tonight is all about. Let's take a look at the LSRTV 411 30-minute practice. It is done. They're qualifying. It is completed. They're right now going through all the rigmarole in the driver's meeting and all the rules. And it's going to be, and I was confused by this, it's the Gateway 175. The distance is 175 miles. The racetrack is just over a mile, and the distance on laps is 140. So there you go. That, and Samuel, you explained that to Scarface, so thank you.
Yeah, the Gateway being a 1.25 mile course, so 1 1/4 of a mile is this length of this track, and I gotta say, this is probably one of the toughest, just above a mile courses these drivers could pick for themselves. And like you noted on Wesley, this is the first time that the Northwest Series is going to be here for the Cup cars, for the trucks, and for Friday night, first time that the ARCA drivers got to handle this course, and a lot of them excited for how tonight's going to go.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Let's take a look at the LSR TV weather conditions to the bottom right of the monitor, as we showed you the 411. There you go. Samuel, it's kind of shades of what we saw with the ARCA race. Temperature, track temp, right there with one another. Wind speed comfortable. It was at 3 miles an hour. It's dropped down to 2. Partly cloudy skies. The lights are already illuminated around Worldwide Technology Raceway. So this should be a good race here.
Oh, it certainly should. The temperature's a little bit cooler than the ARCA race was, so drivers expect to have a little bit more grip to work with themselves throughout the night, which that is what they're going to be searching for all night long. A lot of drivers going to be picking and choosing, especially if they want to shift down. But Wesley, this is a fixed setup league, so there's only small little details that you can really affect and influence how to get an advantage with this car, which the main way that you can get an advantage is with your brake bias here tonight. It's got to be a way that you can higher the brake bias, the more pressure you're putting on the brakes, and the quicker you can slow down, but easier you can lock up, the lower you can ease into the brakes and get into these corners a little bit smoother. But that is going to be the biggest way you can get an advantage here tonight without just raw driving skill.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And as we move into this race, we're going to watch this as the first time ever running here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Should be fun. There's a lot more cars than obviously what the ARCA cars had on Friday night, which was just a little sampler, if you will, of what you think we're going to see here. Let's take a look at the point standings, okay? So everything's resetted into the round of 8 opener here tonight at Worldwide Technology Raceway. So the points will pop up here. And you do see pink being showed. We have no points? Oh, no points. Okay. Well, Samuel, I guess me and you are just going to have to ad-lib again, just kind of talking about the points verbatim. A graphic was not made. But I will tell you that one of the reasons it wasn't made is because we're in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And in doing so, you see pink on the logos. You see pink on the LSR TV logo. Race car drivers are donning pink on their cars. And that is an observance of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Of course, it is October. Remember to get yourself screen tested, men and women. Hey, men can get breast cancer just as much as women can. So always do your part as you move up in your age and do what you need to do to make sure you stay healthy. And in doing so, get screenings available. And, of course, for those that are still fighting breast cancer, you are with us strong. We are strong. And, of course, we definitely would like to acknowledge those that we have lost, family, friends, loved ones, to cancer. Not just breast cancer, but all forms of cancer, as it is a deadly epidemic in our world society. So definitely do your part, and we'll have pink on for the rest of the year. Samuel, to acknowledge Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I think that's really cool that Live Sim Racing stepping up and doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was something that I think a lot of leaks that we've been showing, drivers have been picking and choosing which race they really want to put the pink on for breast cancer awareness. And, for us, we got to get the graphics set up. But like you said, we had to pick and choose what graphic we wanted up, and we felt like it was a lot more deserving to put the pink on our LSRTV ticker. Just the awareness is there, and it's October. You love the pink, seeing it out there, and a lot of drivers been looking through. There is about a quarter of the field that are rocking pink schemes, and they all look amazing, and I can't wait to see them all out there.
All right, so now that we have had to fill in some time and talk about the pink on the broadcast, we want to now go to the points, and this is the chase points starting of the round of 8. So here it is. It's very simple. It's just like NASCAR yesterday at Texas when Kyle Larson won. If you win the race and you're one of the drivers that are in the points, you advance to the final championship 4 finale at Vegas. Now, where they're going to Phoenix and NASCAR for Cup, we will be going to Vegas for our finale. But this is, of course, round 28 of the season. If you count the All-Star, the non-points, shootout race we had, and the dash and the duels. So this is, of course, points race 28. This is points race 27, race number 28 of the year. But we are down to what is the final 4 races of the season. You've got to win here in the next 4 weeks to advance to the finale at Vegas. Samuel, we know Lake Peterson is the number 1 pick. We know that guy's at the top of the barrel. He's done a phenomenal job. He's been the dominator of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, or the Cup Series. I've said he's been the Kyle Larson of this iRacing league, and he's back tonight, obviously.
Yeah, Lake Peterson, like I said, top of the board. This is going to be his 18th start of the season. But of his 17 starts, he's won 7 races, has 8 pole positions, 10 top 5s, and 14 top 10s. I was doing the math. That means that Lake Peterson's been finishing in the top 10 82% of the time that he is on the racing surface. So expecting to see Lake Peterson up front in our top 10 and just trying to be consistent here. That is really the goal. But I think Lake Peterson wants to do the same strategy he did for the round of 12. Win the first race, then he doesn't have to worry about the next 3 races.
So we are looking at the points. And again, Lake Peterson is the number 1 seed. Sean Brightsman, defending Cup Series champion, right there with him. Dan West Jr., defending Truck Series champion. He's in the number 3 spot. Caden Anderson. Remember what Caden had to go through? He had to climb out of a suspension, come back, win the race. He dominated, won both races at Iowa Speedway, and then he, put himself in the spot to get back in the Cup and Truck playoffs. Christopher White also is the number 5 seed. He is in this chase. Stephen O'Hare and B.J. Tidrick, along with Kevin Smith at the bottom of the barrel. These 8 drivers we're going to be keeping an eye on. And, of course, throughout the night, you will see a legend information. Keep an eye on that ticker because it will constantly fluctuate in color, and all that good stuff is about to go down. So we are getting ready to grid the cars. We will can we step away real quickly and do a Tom Denchel commercial? We'll do that, and then we go racing in just a moment from Worldwide Technology Raceway here on LSRTV and 1 year proudly on CRN, the Community Radio Network.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
And we welcome you back to coverage from Worldwide Technology Raceway, formerly known as Gateway. And the field is gridded. It is go time. Time to give you that Team 126 Racing starting lineup here tonight. And on the front row, there you see him, me. Shades of the Talladega Nights Ricky Bobby car at the end of the movie. Justin Yee to the outside, defending Cup champion. Second in the standings going to the round of 8. Sean Brightsman at 46. Row number 2 on the grid. We'll find Ryan Bloom in the number 25 machine to the outside. Dan West Jr., defending Truck Series champion, also adonning pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Row number 3, we'll find there's the man, Lake Peterson, the number 1 seed, looking for win 8 of the year to advance in race round of 8 opener to the final at Vegas. 09 to the outside. Dennis Moore, he's done good in Cup and Truck the last couple of weeks. Row number 4, we'll find Chris White in the 83, another playoff driver to the outside. Stephen O'Hare in the 41 machine, of course, the Talladega winner. And to round out your top 10, James Vining, the Catman, improved, and the number 8 seed, Kevin Smith in the 00 from Hermiston, Washington, your top 10 here at Gateway.
And falling back to row number 6, we find Caden Anderson, the hottest driver currently. He's on a 2-win streak, trying to make it 3 in a row for the 37 with Dan Lather to his outside. Then falling back to row number 7, we find that of James Thurston with that of Jeff Stabnow in the 24 to the outside. That 24 machine trying to get redemption after being knocked out of the playoffs. In row number 8, we find Tyler King and Eric Cheney in the 76. Finishing out your row number 8. Falling back to row number 9, we find that of Casey Garber in the 94 and Stephen Paulison in the 58. And finishing out row number 10, it's BJ Tidrick and Troy Daggett.
Frank Harris will be in the row 11 in the 11 car to the outside. Judd Wakefield in car number 50. And moving on to the final starter will be Aaron Cooper Bug-Eyes in car number 71. There's your lineup. All right, Samuel, I know we're not on camera because of my dog attack face injury. Scarface here. Who's your pick to win here tonight as we get ready to come to green?
I'm going with Lake Peterson. He seems to be so quick whenever he shows up.
I'll tell you who I'm going to go with on a long shot. Keep an eye. I believe tonight is the night for Dennis Moore in 44. Yeah, I said it. Here they come. Pace car coming in off of turn number 4. The round of 8. Ready. 4 to Vegas. It starts now. Green is in the air. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. As 22 plus charter members. Virtual fraternal order go fast. Giddy up and gallop around Gateway. We have a race. As they go to the back straightaway, it's Yee out in front.
Justin Yee doing a great job for himself. Our front 3 all in line. It's side by side really for Dennis Moore and Lake Peterson, trying to figure out who's going to get that 5th place position, as well as that of James Vining. The 333, he has been our surprise driver these last couple of weeks, and he continues to thrive up front in 7th.
140 laps the distance. Lap 70 will be halfway. There goes Moore. Keep an eye on him in that 44 machine. He's right there along with James Vining. Stephen O'Hare got a little loose there a moment ago coming off of that second turn as they work their way. Back straightaway, 3rd turn. This track just over a size of a mile. 175 miles, 140 laps. And right now, Justin Yee, teammate to Lake Peterson, out in front. Dan West Jr. in 2nd. There's the battle for 3rd. Bloom, Brightsman inside. They go to turn 1 with Peterson in top 5. Go to the corner.
And Bloom, as well as Sean Brightsman, they raced with one another back on Friday night in the ARCA Series. As Ryan Bloom trying to go for an ARCA Series championship, just trying to run as strong as he can for this 25 team. But Lake Peterson, we know how strong this 09 can be. 7 wins this season, trying to go for win number 8. But man, are they still fighting strong. And you know, we saw a lot of the drivers wiggling here early on the exit of the corners, expecting the drivers to tighten up, not wiggle as much as the run goes on as they build more heat into their tires. But the extremely loose conditions was what we were hearing from the drivers all week long. So expect off the corner as the run gets later on. When we're about 30, 40 laps into a run, be careful coming out of these corners.
Look at that awesome camera shot right there. The Phoenix Designs entry from the back, now back up to the front. And that is Lake Peterson right there on board with him. You saw the side shot there. I thought that looked pretty cool. As right now everyone is all single file. And Justin Yee, the man out in front. Justin Yee, one of those drivers that just is out here to win a race. That's it. You got 8 drivers that are in the playoffs. We have 7 here tonight. Who are we missing?
Yeah, it's Chris White. Chris White
missing
tried
Chris
to
White.
get logged in, and he tried to. I believe he's finally gotten on track, but issues for that of Chris White as he has not been able to connect into the server, it looks like. So that 83 behind already,
Wow.
and this is looking very similar to kind of what happened to Caden Anderson. Missed out on a great run, but luckily is on track, but multiple laps down as Dan West Jr. Is having some internet issues, it looks like, as he was falling and moving up and down our list on our ticker. But
Yeah.
gotta say, I mean, for that of Chris White, luckily he got back into the session and he's put a couple of laps down, so he's not going to get 0 points, but he's got a lot of work and going to need a lot of cautions to get back into the mix of things for that 83.
If you remember on Friday for the ARCA race here from Gateway or at Worldwide Technology Raceway, we had 5 caution flags, but a plethora of 4 out of the 5 happened in the opening 50 laps. After that, for the most part, Samuel, the race went caution flag. Do you think we could see this type of setup happen again? But for right now, everybody's playing nice. We had a caution in the opening 10 laps on Friday for the ARCA race, and right now we're 8 laps in, and everybody just kind of riding their time.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where drivers are certainly trying to get themselves situated as we're going to throw it to a commercial break real quick here, and we'll come right back in just a few moments.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland, the face with the voice of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League that you hear simulcasted on the Community Radio Network. And that's what we want to tell you about. We are excited to continue the partnership of covering esports on CRN, just like we do with all the other broadcasts that I cover in real life, like MAV TV, Short Track America, Speed 51 TV, Fox Sports Radio for college, high school sports. The Community Radio Network does the same thing. In addition to broadcasting real athletics, we're excited to be the radio voice of LSRTV's coverage of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group, the American iRacing League, and special events along the way. It's very simple. On your web browser, laptop, tablet, or cell phone, go to wearecrn.com, click on play, and you are able to keep up with the action. It's very simple. The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Check us out when you can. Esports coverage from LSRTV on CRN, the Community Radio Network, wearecrn.com.
I look like Scarface right now, but that's what I look like when I'm not abused. We're lap 10 of 140, 130 remaining. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland here with you. And we have a caution. Came back from on the, Dan Lowther. Spun front straightaway. Look out, Judd. Oh, Judd. Oh,
no.
He spun out. Come on, Judd.
Well, I mean, it's
Bonsai left
safer
or right to miss him.
Hey, but sometimes you just got to slide it to the side and get out of the way.
Let's ride on board, or let's see what happened here. By the way, replays presented by Pulse Poppers Fishing Lures. Replay, Lowther on the inside of James Thurston, and oh my goodness, wow.
Oh, no.
A little contact there. Was that Stab now?
Yeah, it was Jeff Stab now that got the contact. His
God almighty,
woes
he can't get a
continue.
break. Son of a...
Oh,
First you
man.
say it, then you do it. Jeff Stab now, man. I feel for this guy. Oh my goodness. Sounds like Jeff Stab now missed a shift going in the corner.
Yeah,
Listen
that's
to
where
this.
drivers are, they're picking and choosing coming out of turn number 2 if they want to downshift or not to find the speed. But you see Dan, he gets loose. Seems like he's going to come around, but makes contact with 76 and also
He got double
gets
the
hit
pleasure.
by
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. Cars are on pit road. Obviously, Chris White's going to take advantage of this because he's multiple laps down. He will get the free pass, if you will. Get one of his laps back. Samuel, how about the job of Justin Yee so far? Shades of his teammate and friend, Lake Peterson. But you know what, though? We've seen times before where, like, Justin Yee does really good and then struggles down the stretch.
Yeah, I think for me, the first race I think of is earlier in the season, our first time we were at Atlanta. That was the first time really, Justin Yee took off immediately in the first half of the race, was dominating it, and then with pit issues, got phased out of the lead position. And that is something that we're always going to be concerned about, but it always seems like Yee has the short run speed. It's that long run speed that we're always concerned. Does the 66 have for himself? And Wesley saw on the ticker Caden Anderson giving up track position to come into pit road to top off with fuel.
Interesting. Not many contenders coming into the pits here early on, 13 of 140, as this is the first caution of this race. Hey, by the way, don't forget, the Gateway 175 for the trucks is on Wednesday night. This is the opening race for the round of 8 this week. Tonight for Cup, trucks on Wednesday. And remember, then it's on to the next round, which would be round number 2, which will be Friday night with ARCA. And a good friend of mine in real racing at Callaway at Franklin County Speedway, and I know he's a big fan of iRacing as well. Samuel, I believe you're taking the night off, and Caleb Hall is going to be joining me in the booth, and he's a pretty good guy. He's also a really good scorer.
Yeah, we're excited to see the LSRTV announcing crew growing in numbers, as we've seen multiple people coming in the booth throughout the last week or two, and excited to be adding more people in. So it's not just you and me, Wesley, just taking up all the action all the time.
And that will be at Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois, the virtual Windy City for ARCA. What is SpongeBob doing? Okay, he's all right. Never mind. You're alive. Just checking on you. New Hampshire, Helmstead, and then it's on to Vegas for the championship. These next 4 weeks will determine in the next 5 weeks the finale. Worldwide Technology Raceway tonight, Chicago, New Hampshire, Homestead, Miami, and then Las Vegas for the finale. And you know what, Samuel, I like the fact that it's not Phoenix. It's a different type of, and the tracks as well. We kind of close to mimic the schedule for NASCAR for the most of the start of the season. And then somewhere around the playoffs, it takes a dip in where the Northwest guys want to do what they want to do and pick what they want to pick, race where they want to race. And in doing so, I think it makes the championship battle a lot more exciting than just following the plain Jane NASCAR schedule per se.
Oh, I love it so much, especially because, looking back for that championship race at Las Vegas, we ran Las Vegas. That was one of the earlier races that were ran here where Dan West Jr. won. So, the 55 wants to get to that championship race to try to defend at Las Vegas and have a shot for a championship.
Pace cars in, field back to the Geico restart zone. And here we go, back for the restart. First time tonight at Gateway. G is gone. He pulls away again. Meanwhile, there are 2x2 like Noah leading the animals to the arc. Now 3 rows back behind the leader in turn 2. 3 wide now as West goes up the racetrack. Peterson on the bottom.
You just saw Ryan Bloom just could not get back onto the throttle in the 25, losing ground. Just showing the inside lane, yes, at most tracks is the preferred lane to be, but if you cannot get through your gears properly, you can lose a lot of ground. As now up front, it's Yee, Dan West Jr., Lake Peterson, Dennis Moore, and now the battle for 5th. Bloom continuing to fall back.
Cars on the pit lane as well. Ironically, very abnormal pit stops. Frank Harris and Paulison, the Daytona winner, on the pit lane. There was the Jim Beam number 58, the Ford Performance number 11, Ford of Harris, Toyota of Paulison, and they're making unscheduled pit stops. Very unusual, Samuel, especially just after green.
Yeah, I'm presuming that those were because of black flags that were given under the restart. So both drivers coming in and being held.
There you go. Being sent to timeout, if you will. Down the back straightaway they go with Yee out in front. Brightsman, well, correction, that's Dan West Jr. second. Peterson. Remember, also, you've got 8 drivers. Christopher White all the way in the back. A lap down, got back a moment ago in the caution. Can he come back and get his laps back? Now he's only 1 lap down.
Yeah, he's only, I
or
believe,
2 laps
two
down.
laps
I'm sorry.
down.
Yeah, he's 1 lap down.
He's trying to get
Thomas
another
Horn
lap
saying
back.
2 laps down, but he's 1 lap down. Yeah. I mean, we could see him. He's 2 laps down. So, I mean, he's trying to do what he's got to do. He got 1 of his laps back. So, we can see what's happening here. We'll watch.
So, and he is the first car lap down. So, if an incident does happen, he has the chance of getting 1 of these 2 laps recovered. But that's asking for cautions to happen, and he cannot be involved in those incidences. So, a lot of work for that of Chris White. He wants to get back into the mix of things. And like I said earlier, it's a good thing that at least he showed up and he didn't blatantly just miss today's race and turn into a must-win scenario for the next 3 races.
That's exactly right. As we watch these drivers work their way up the racetrack, James Thurston in the 2 pink machine. Normally he's in the orange and blue car. Pink and white on the 24, Billings, Montana. Jeff Stabnow. Jeff Stabnow, a disappointing season for Cup and Truck. He's got 1 ARCA win on the ARCA Northwest that came at Iowa, and you see him fighting that car down the back straightaway. He drifts up the racetrack, and his Ford opens the door now to the Chevrolet of Thurston on the bottom. Also carrying Tidrick with him and just trying to get by. Daggett also in the 51. And you know, Samuel, Jeff has been at the top of the game here on the Northwest Cup and Truck Series. He's had the highs of highs, and it seems like since September of last year, the lowest of lows.
Yeah, it's been a lot for Jeff Stabnow. And also, you know, throughout the season was moving his computer, his rig, had a lot of different moving parts going on with his side of things, and it really disrupted his comfortability while racing. And I think that's another factor. He finally got comfortable, set up, but his luck has not been there. Like we saw earlier in the race, caught up in an incident. And because you can see his front end was completely repaired, used a fast repair was the 24 team. As we look on board with the 333, that of James Vining. Vining currently in 9th place, and a driver that I talked to throughout the week of just getting information about all 3 series of, you know, how is the car feeling for yourself? And he said at the beginning of the week, it is almost undrivable, these Cup cars are. And now you can see the practice has been put in. 333 up in the top 10 and just trying to get a solid finish. A non-playoff driver, but still, it's been great to see, Wesley, these drivers that aren't a part of the playoffs still showing up and putting on great shows.
Yeah, I have to admit, man, I am so impressed with the Cat Band, James Vining, and what he's done. Definitely has got better and better. Week in, week out for sure as we're watching them. Here they come down the back front straightaway. About to be 24 laps completed. Working now lap number 25. Samuel Dyer, Scarface, Wesley Outland here with you. Dan West Jr., Blake Peterson, second and third. Justin Yee is the man out in front. And we welcome you to coverage on LSRTV as well as for 1 year celebration on the Community Radio Network. Hard to believe 1 year ago we inked the deal, and it's still going on, and we're excited about it. We got a lot of great things, not only with iRacing on Community Radio Network, but man, I had a great meeting today with NCAA. I got a couple of Division II schools that is going to be broadcasting not only basketball during the winter, but also softball and baseball. I'm looking forward to unveiling all that very soon. But, of course, we've got volleyball tomorrow, soccer on Wednesday, iRacing Wednesday night with the Northwest Truck Series, and football on Thursday. But I will tell you, Samuel, one of the things we pride is being able to broadcast the iRacing. And so many people that I speak with that might not even know iRacing or follow iRacing, but they follow CRN. And they'll say, man, it sounds like it's a real race broadcast when you and Samuel and you guys are broadcasting these races in the booth. Let's look at Dennis Moore going after Brightsman. But I think that's really cool, Samuel, and we're looking forward to that relationship continuing.
Oh, absolutely. As the pass was made for second place, Lake Peterson getting by that of Dan West Jr. and kind of causing an accordion effect of 4 drivers piling into one another. And that of Dennis Moore going to make contact with the rear bumper of Sean Brightsman, who's in that of 4th position. Is right on board with that of Dan West Jr. I mean, this 55 team coming in, trying to get his 4th win of the season, but you're already seeing that of the Ski Fleet Enterprise teammates of Justin Yee and Lake Peterson up front. And Wesley, this is when things get concerning, is when Lake Peterson might not have the strongest qualifying run, but he always finds a way to get up front.
And we'll watch them as we're seeing these guys going at it. Lake Peterson has now closed in, as Samuel reiterated on, right behind his teammate. Okay, that's hashtag fake news. He hasn't got there yet. He's about a 1.5 seconds back. But he is in 2nd spot. And he is coming after his teammate.
I mean, he gained like 0.02 of a second on his teammate that last lap. We'll see this time by how much Lake Peterson's gaining. As that time by, looking at the driver's
Samuel,
last
my
lap,
question is if you're Justin Yee, do you budge? Do you budge and give way to Peterson, or you want to win your race as well?
I think you got to go with win for yourself at this point. Until you see Lake Peterson catch up to you, you do not lay back. You are constantly fighting. And, for Justin Yee, his biggest strong suit's been the short run, building up these large gaps and trying to hold off everyone. Hasn't succeeded so far this season. 0 wins for the 6-6 team, because it seems like Lake Peterson just has been the closer, knows how to finish out these races so well, and also in dominating fashions. As we're also seeing the battle that's going on for 5th place. Kevin Smith, he's not making his charge forward. The 00 driver that kind of had some misfortunes Friday night, he's not moving forward.
Samuel, did you see Dan West Jr. fighting that car off of the 2nd corner?
As looks like Jeff Stabnow off course,
wrecked.
Issues boil over again for the 24.
Team LSRTV having issues. Dan West Jr. about spun it out off of turn 2. Jeff Stabnow decides to go SCC off-road on the back straightaway. They'll save it, no caution, but man, Jeff Stabnow lost a ton of ground to the pack.
Oh no! Oh no, Stephen O'Hare hard into the wall.
No,
and
O'Hare.
also Kane Anderson involved.
No caution. No caution thrown yet.
And
there's
now the yellow waves.
Caution is out.
No.
I got to wonder in there for a second if they were not even going to throw a caution. Here is your Pulse Pomper instant replay. This is after all the shenanigans between Dan West Jr., his bad luck, saving his car, then Jeff Stabnow spinning, and then we see Caden Anderson and Stephen O'Hare, Ryan Bloom right around him. Oh, he just lost it, and right in front of Caden Anderson. Wow, nowhere for Caden to go either, Samuel.
Yeah, and BJ Tidrick luckily was able to slow down fast enough not to run into Caden Anderson, as big issues for playoff drivers there, and almost had 3 playoff drivers coming in and having issues in one incident. But that is massive for that of Stephen O'Hare. He is going to be forced into using a fast repair, and it looks like most of the field coming into pit road to get fuel and tires.
Yeah, I was thinking here comes the whole cavalry led by Justin Yee, Lake Peterson, Dan West Jr. I know he better be having a handling type of setup in the cards for him, as everybody coming down. First time on the agenda, tires, fuel, chassis adjustments, and away we roll as Lake Peterson in his pit stall. Here comes Justin Yee at pit stall 1. He'll get work done. Brightsman done. Bloom there and Dan West Jr. all on the pit lane, Samuel, for work in the first big pit stop of the afternoon.
Yeah, and all these drivers get going. Lake Peterson gets going earlier, though.
Wow. Lake Peterson, teammate to Justin Yee, beats him out. Troy Daggett is now going to be scored as the new leader. And by the way, caution coming out for Chris White. Or because of the caution, Chris White will get the free pass. And Samuel, he is now just 1 lap down. How about that? Can he get back in this race?
Yeah, I mean, he's just 1 lap down. And now Troy Daggett, as well as Aaron Cooper, just staying out an extra lap and now going to be coming into pit road, giving the lead back to Lake Peterson. But for Chris White, I mean, seeing Stephen O'Hare and Caden Anderson both being caught up in that incident, that's positions that can be gained, as Caden Anderson looks like did not utilize a fast repair, the 37, just manually repairing. So 37 machine, who's been our hottest driver so far in the Cup and Truck Series, he has now found some misfortune starting out the round of the 8, and now he's got to figure out how to work his way forward and bank probably on more cautions coming out. As drivers up front, this is going to be a very tall task for them to be, holding off. If you're having issues early, you got to hope that some of the other playoff drivers have issues as well.
Coming up on over 100 laps remaining here in the Gateway 175. We will take a break. We'll come back, as right now, Frank Harris is your new leader in car number 11.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in indoor series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Lights are off on the pace car, getting ready to come back for the green flag. This time by 35 laps in, as looks like we've had Paulison and Harris now come to the pits. In doing so, Samuel, they will now go to the back, put now Lake Peterson and Justin Yee, teammates, on the front row as the field to come back to the Geico restart zone and go back to green flag, this time by.
Yeah, the teammates up front, Skeet Fleet Enterprise, are certainly going to be the favorites moving forward. I'm interested, though, if we get into extreme long run, what speed does Kevin Smith have that he was holding off, because that 00 was coming with a lot of speed and was one of the fastest cars at the end of that stint.
Field will come out of turn number 4. Pace car ducks onto the pit lane between the apex of the corner. He's already out of harm's way. Green flag, Yee and Peterson. Front row, green back out. And Peterson is gone in 09. Looking to advance to Vegas and the championship 4 finale. If he can do it here in round number 1, Samuel, we have literally seen Lake do that in both rounds of the playoffs here earlier. He'd go in, he'd run around, he'd advance to the next round, and then he'd stay away. He'd come back for this round like tonight. If he wins, he advances. We probably won't see him until Vegas.
Yeah, really, that's the key for Lake Peterson. He's just keeping himself relaxed, shows up when it's needed, has that clutch factor. When he wins, it's when it's most needed for himself. And, for that at Lake Peterson, we saw him do it that last round where he won at the Indianapolis Road Course to start off the round of 12 in the whole entire playoffs for the Cup Series. And with no surprise, Lake Peterson came into tonight's race as the favorite. I think the whole entire field knew if the 09 won tonight, he is going to be the biggest threat going into Las Vegas for the championship 4. So everyone's mind is, how do we stop that of Lake Peterson from winning and locking himself in?
Working his way off of turn number 2 to the back straightaway. There's Thurston's car, James Thurston. Got a decent run going for him. He's currently now in the 7th position. Across the line, back to the corner, Dennis Moore. Samuel, your pick was Peterson. Mine was Dennis Moore. I just, God believes that he's just gonna. I know he's fighting a loose car right now. Is he about just spun it off the corner at a 2? Good save, but I still think there's a long way to go in this race. And man, Dennis Moore's due one.
Oh, absolutely. I think if anything, Dennis Moore, biggest opportunity if we're looking at the whole week as a whole from ARCA, Cup, and Trucks has to be the truck race. I mean, that is an open setup night where everyone works throughout the whole entire week trying to get their truck set up to perfect to their abilities. So you got good for the long run as Dan Lather gets out of control for the 63, but able to hold on. But yeah, for the 44 team and the whole entire Beaver State crew, I think looking into Wednesday night, that's when we're going to be seeing the strength of Tyler King, Stephen O'Hare, and that of Dennis Moore really shine when we go into long runs on Wednesday night when they have the proper setup. Because here for the Cup cars, it's a fixed setup league, meaning everyone has the same exact setup underneath them, everything exactly the same. So it's all about you as a driver. How can you conquer and have a victory with this setup? And it's been Lake Peterson all season long. But here's a driver, the 72, BJ Tidrick. I've been looking at the stats for the 72 team. I mean, Wesley, you look at last season, for the first season of the Cup Series, he was a driver that was really looking strong and had a chance to win a championship. Coming into this season, he's had the consistent runs to get him into the playoffs, but the championship level of a victory, that's where we need to see the 72 team really conquer and come over the hump here in the round of 8.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. By the way, we're just over 40 laps into this race here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Let's give you your full field rundown of the 24-car field, or 23 cars that started this race. Lake Peterson is the man out in front. Justin Yee is second. Kevin Smith is third. Dan West Jr. fourth. BJ Tidrick is fifth. Sean Brightsman sixth. Seventh is Tyler King. Eighth is James Thurston. Ninth is Casey Garber. And Dennis Moore, your top 10. Ryan Bloom and James Vining right now the top dozen.
And in 13th, Stephen O'Hare, Dan Lathers in 14th. Jeff Stabnow has moved up to 15th after making a pass on that of Eric Cheney. Troy Daggett 17th. Caden Anderson 18th. 19th goes to Jed Wakefield. Aaron Cooper in 20th, the last of our lead lap drivers. With that of Chris White going to be the last. There's going to be the first driver, a one lap down, try to get that lap back if a caution comes out. With that is Stephen Paulison and Frank Harris finishing out your 23-car field.
So that's the way it stands. Lap 45 of 140 with Peterson out in front. Great performance so far. Still a lot of racing left to go. Look at Ryan Bloom. Ryan Bloom currently in the 11th position. He's outside the top 10. Thurston battling with Moore. Also the 94, Casey Garber. Kind of quiet night for Garber now. He moves into the top 10.
Casey
Samuel,
Garber,
I'm noticing. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm noticing that, like, within 20 laps of a green flag cycle, these guys changing their tires. Even though it's nighttime, these cars really tighten up. They get really loose then, and all of a sudden then they want to spin out. Are you seeing that same trend as well? And do you think that it's just not getting the right setup? These guys aren't just using the tires up too quickly. What are we watching here?
Yeah, this is a little bit of a tight in, loose off type of scenario where you're coming to these corners and you got to slow down to make them. This is a very, based off of what we're used to seeing for drivers coming to these corners. I mean, this is kind of a flat reverse Darlington, you could say, as the banking isn't as high through the corner, so the drivers really have to slow down, and if you don't, you're rolling into these corners with too much speed, and you're actually having to turn the wheel more, which is using more grip, and just tearing off these drivers. And I gotta say, for a lot of these drivers, they're also diving in very hard into these corners, like the two of James Thurston. We've seen a lot of the aggression as BJ Tidrick now moving up into that 5th place position. Noted on 72 needing to make make some moves forward. He's done it. Biggest mover on track is the 72 driver, but drivers, the only adjustments they can make while in the car is their brake bias. So that's how much pressure your brake gets when you press on the brake pedal, and drivers have to be tuning with that throughout the night on how much they want to slow down and how much when you're slowing down, you get back in the throttle and get back up to speed. That's where we're seeing these drivers shuddering coming out of the corner.
Peterson, the man out in front. Watch Tidrick now and Brightsman. That battle going on here inside the top 5 as these guys work their way down the front straightaway. Lap 50 on the board next time by completed. As they're working lap 50 now, Tidrick and Brightsman. And, you know, Samuel, since Darlington, we ain't really heard a lot out of BJ Tidrick. But consistency, I believe, has kept him in the hunt to go for a championship. And he had to do the same thing in the round of 12 to advance here now to where he's at. And right now, he's being consistent right in the top 5. As a matter of fact, 5 cars in the top 10. 5 of the top 6 are all points cars in the championship.
Yeah, and honestly, coming into this round of 8, I would say BJ Tidrick was the biggest underdog of all of those drivers, as the 72 team coming in with no wins, no pole starts, and only having 5 top 5s. And, you know, I gotta say, we touched on consistency. Well, his consistency's been getting inside of the top 10. He's got 12 top 10s. That's where the speed's been. But for this round of 8, BJ Tidrick needs to get top 5 finishes, if not a win. That'd be amazing for himself, is to see that Dennis Moore and Tyler King get a little bit frisky between themselves for 7th place.
Back straightaway, closing in on halfway as well, and about another less than 20 laps. Frank Harris down below the bottom of the apron, his car off the pace. As the field works their way back around out of turn 4, down the straightaway with Lake Peterson out in front. Yee in 2nd spot. Smith, good run for him, Samuel. 00 machine, also looking good in 3rd behind Yee. Nice, comfortable ride.
Yeah, I mean, this has been amazing for that of Kevin Smith. Up 7 positions from where he started, as Jeff Stabnow might be having more issues. He is. Same spot he did last time, off track, the 24.
Oh, no.
Just coming out at turn number 2. It's been his weakness, his kryptonite so far this race. This is the 2nd, 3rd time we've seen him have issues in that same spot. 2nd time he's been off course, and just continues on with the issues for this 24 team.
My goodness, man. Well, we'll keep an eye on it and see where they go. The Stabnow will fall all the way back to 20th. Tidrick and Brightsman, best battle on the racetrack. We talked about it. That's for 5th and 6th. Brightsman trying to get up under him as they work their way out of 4.
Yeah, Sean Brightsman, I mean, if we needed to put a picture of someone into the dictionary and say, hey, this is what consistency is, Sean Brightsman's that. I mean, he has been Mr. Consistent with all of his 19 starts. He has finished in the top 10 every time. This 46 team just knows how to be up front, and that is one of the things that has really helped Sean Brightsman just be one of the top drivers points-wise through the regular season and making it through each and every round. Sean Brightsman, other stats that he's been having, I mean, he's got 4 wins on top of his 19 top 10s and 14 top 5s as well for this 46 team that's still trying to get another top 5 for himself.
Garber under attack on the outside. Tyler King. Ryan Bloom. Early playoff drivers. Now just looking for checkered flags. You see the 09. Well, King bounces off the wall. This is in the top 10. I'll tell you what, Samuel, watching these guys go to the back straightaway, you know, we mentioned the guys at the points, obviously in blue, running for a championship. But these guys that are in dark or just, you know, not in bold, any of these guys have a chance to win. You know, and you heard me say my pick tonight is Dennis Moore. He's not a playoff championship driver, but he's just a driver that we've really watched in the last month or so get better and better and better on Cup and Truck and ARCA. And like I said, I think he's due in the 44. But again, he's not a playoff driver.
Yeah, he's not a playoff driver, but certainly has had a lot of speed for that of Dennis Moore. His biggest achievement so far has to be his pole position that he grabbed as a pass for second place underway. Here comes Kevin Smith. Dennis Moore, he got a pole position back in Nashville Super Speedway, and that was a track where really Dennis Moore was feeling very good about that race, but in the end, it was Lake Peterson that won that race. That Dennis Moore was looking good to possibly get his first Cup win. And you know, looking at the rest of the field, it is a lot of drivers that have shown great moments of possibly winning, and then Lake Peterson shows up. It seems to be that every single time. And when Lake's not here, it's a wild card on who's going to get the win. You never know if Kate Anderson's going to be the biggest threat, or if we're going to see Dan West Jr. or Sean Breitzman. It's always a toss-up on who's the next driver when you don't see the 09. As Kevin Smith, fastest car on track, and I noted on this on that first stint, the later the run goes on, the faster the 00 gets.
Peterson, Smith, and Yee. There goes now Moore and Tidrick battling. This is for 6th. Garber right in that mix as well. Closing in on 10 laps to halfway, 80 laps to go in the Gateway 175, 140 laps the distance. Well, that goes on Moore and Tidrick, Garber, Bloom. That goes on in turn 1 and 2. 4 cars. Moore to the inside, trying to go to 6th. Well, let's battle. Let's heat it here, Samuel, as they go to 3. They're not backing down.
Yeah, and you can tell Casey Garber wants to get going. Casey Garber, our second biggest mover of the night, up 9 positions from where he started, as BJ Tidrick's actually our biggest mover currently, up 12 positions. As you see Ryan Bloom getting loose and going low, losing ground. And now this gives more space for the 94 to try to pick and choose. How does he want to attack, or will he follow to see which driver's going to be moving the fastest? And it looks like Dennis Moore's yellow flag waves.
Yeah, it changes everything, and the caution will come out. And as long as it's not involving Chris White, which it looks like it might be Troy Daggett in 51, put Chris White back on the lead lap, Samuel, and all 8 playoff contenders are back in this race.
Yeah, and looking at the replay, it's looking like it might be Troy Daggett that brought out this yellow, is riding on board with the 51 on this replay. Getting a sense of what brought out the yellow flag, and 51 just out of turn 4, and that's a terrible place to lose it, because when you come out of turn 4, like you saw there is almost no time to react to try to save that machine once you loop it around because of that pit wall that the drivers have on the inside, and that's what brings out our caution here. And once again, 30 laps into a run, another yellow flag waves.
Well, here comes Lake Peterson. The only guy that doesn't commit to pit yet is Kevin Smith. Lake Peterson coming down to the pits, along with Justin Yee, Dan West Jr., Sean Breitzman, Tidrick, Moore. Samuel, ironic that Kevin Smith did not pit. What do you think?
This is an issue for that of Kevin Smith and for Ryan Bloom. Both drivers staying out. Maybe they're staying out and hoping that there's going to be another quick caution, but this is not a good sign for the 00 or the 25, as more drivers actually have stayed out with them. You got Kevin Smith, Ryan Bloom, Aaron Cooper, Troy Daggett, Jeff Stabnow, and Judd Wakefield all staying out currently. Chris White, like we noted on, getting the lucky dog position, but it's going to be Lake Peterson, first driver, beating out everyone else.
Tidrick was the first man to move off the pit lane, but then all of a sudden, Lake Peterson again, the race off pit road. And we are back under the caution again. Kevin Smith is now your new leader. And this will give us an opportunity now to take a look at the Tom Dinchel Automotive mid-race report. Obviously, we're not going to be on camera, but we are almost halfway through this race as more cars are coming to the pits, including cars a lap down or damaged or more. Looks like we're seeing Daggett come on, Jeff Stab now, as well as all these other cars working down the front straightaway. But Samuel, your take of the first half of the race, I mean, it's been pretty much the Peterson-Yee connection, the Bumblebee clan, pretty much the guys up in front at the beginning of this thing.
Yeah, I mean, usually whenever you see Justin Yee up front and showing that he's got a lot of speed, you know that Blake Peterson's not too far behind, if not faster. And both those guys have been dominating the early portions of this race, but man, right when the caution was coming out, Kevin Smith was running about a tenth faster than Blake Peterson and was gaining on the 0.9, was probably about 5 to 8 laps away from probably pressuring for a pass for the lead. But this has been the issue for Kevin Smith. By the time that he gets into a long run where his tires are actually better than Blake Peterson and he's gaining, everyone else's tires are so shot that they're spinning around having issues. So you got to find that equal balance. And for Kevin Smith, might have to make the decision here, which is kind of difficult as we're getting close to halfway. Does he want to be aggressive here or be patient still like he's been doing? But for that of Kevin Smith and Ryan Bloom, both 30-lap older tires than the drivers that just came into pit road. They're sitting ducks up front.
Yeah, I think they made a big mistake by not coming down to the pits, and we'll see what goes on here as the lights will go off on the pace car. We'll get ready for what will be the final 74 laps of this race whenever the green flag flies. And by the way, that has been a Tom Dinchel Automotive mid-race report. Here's a quick word from Tom Dinchel, and we get back to on-track action here at Gateway.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Lights are off on the pace car as we had reiterated on, and we are getting ready to make our way back to the restart zone. Thanks again to Tom Dinchel Automotive Group, man. Those guys jumped on board, I believe it was back in April or May of this year, and it has just been a phenomenal relationship down the stretch. Back to the Geico restart zone, green flag, and look at Kevin Smith, Samuel. Old tires or not, he and Bloom are trying to pull away, but here comes Peterson and West. 4 fresh tires are better than 4 old ones, and we're seeing that as they go to the back straightaway.
And issues on coming out of turn number 2 for Stephen O'Hare, but you see up front as caution flag waves, and it's O'Hare coming back on track.
Well, this might have been what the strategy Kevin and them were wanting, because they're probably going to pit now.
I mean, even with the strategy call of wanting it to go green, I mean, this isn't something that's really going to be helpful for Kevin Smith or Ryan Bloom, because they're still going to go all the way to the back of the line. As you see here of Stephen O'Hare, it's coming out of the corner. Dan Lathers to his outside, and just a little bit of contact, and away goes the 41.
Around goes the 41. There you go. Trouble and caution out. Stephen O'Hare, second time in a caution tonight. Obviously, Samuel, if you are Ryan Bloom, Kevin Smith, you're pitting, right?
You would imagine that they would, but at this point, you kind of are stuck with staying out there for an extra, probably trying to make this race one more stop, which means they're going to be aiming for around lap 75 to 80. It's going to be the window for the 00 as well as the 25 to try to reach that length. And Bank got a caution to come around that moment, but this is such a gambling moment, I think, for that of Kevin Smith and Ryan Bloom, because once we go green, they're both on the outside. They're not going to be the first cars to take off. They're going to be swamped going into turns 1 and 2. We already saw Blake Peterson, how fast he was just through the first corner. Everyone else is going to be on the inside of the 00 and the 25. Still is going to be a hazard on track when we go green.
Well, looks like nobody is going to come to the pits. Hey, let's check in on Chris White in the 83 machine. He is now up to 17th. There he is. And Samuel, the White House 83 Ford, back on the lead lap. He's in the top 20, but he's back in the race.
Yeah, I mean, 83 is back in the race, but then the other playoff contender of Stephen O'Hare looks like his race could be done with being involved in that wreck, as the 41's still in pit road getting service done. And this is not the way that Stephen O'Hare wanted this playoffs to go at all, as the lone Beaver State Racing member in the Cup Series running for a championship, as the other members could not make it into the round of 8. But it's got to be a little frustrating for the first race, being caught up in messes this early on, especially in the round of 8, where you can't have any mistakes. It's the best 4. They get to move on and race for a championship.
By the way, if you're looking at these cars, I don't know how better of a our camera crew can zoom in on them cars as best as they can, but on the top of the visors and on the spoilers, there is a teal green, if you will, a Dayglow green color, and that says Tom Dinchel Automotive Group. And that is just a way, like what NASCAR does for the playoff guys, to also help out your audience on LSRTV know who your playoff contenders are in the Northwest Cup and Truck Series. Samuel, that Dayglow green top of the roof bar and the spoiler match, and that will acknowledge the cars that are drivers still racing for a championship.
Yeah, it's always amazing. It's always great whenever a league really puts together a wave that's easier for us as viewers to see who's in the playoffs and who's not. Just not only for us putting it on our ticker, but visually who's in and who's out.
Really cool for sure, definitely. He's Samuel Dyer. I'm Wesley Outland. And we welcome you to coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series, Cup Series playoffs, round of 8 opener tonight at Worldwide Technology Raceway. If one of the 8 drivers that have those Dayglow green spoilers and roof icons win, they punch their ticket in to the championship 4 finale in 4 weeks at Vegas. But to do that, Samuel, they got to survive and advance here in the second half of the Gateway 175. Your take of the race so far, racing at Gateway for the first time as well in the playoffs, or for the Northwest Series in general.
Yeah, I mean, it was a kind of a new thing for the drivers and new for us to see this track, and it's been awesome to see. And I've been loving Gateway so far this week, and I cannot wait to see how the trucks adapt to this course. But hey, Cup guys, they've been doing a great job.
Bottled up traffic, getting back into line, green flag back out. Peterson Smith didn't go, and it starts a chain reaction of calamity on the restart. O'Hare, Wakefield, Vining, Moore, they are all wrecked on the front straightaway. Thurston, and now the caution is out.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I mean, kudos on Lake Peterson on trying to jam-pack everyone, but at the same time, no one has done this type of a move in months of jamming everyone up. Sean Bridesman wasn't prepared for them to take off. I think everyone was thinking, oh, we're going to go when you see them just all getting ran over by that of Dennis Moore and others.
Everybody was bottlenecked behind the leader, and then there's your outcome right there. I mean, I knew it was the ingredients of starting something. Let's go.
I mean, it was also our outside lane as well. You've also got, the older tires, right, of Ryan Bloom and Kevin Smith. they're starting on the outside row, so everyone's trying to either give a shove or help out in the best way
Samuel,
that they
was this
can.
good on Peterson's part? Should he have not have
I
done
mean,
that?
it's something that you could do as a leader. You can pick and choose when you want to take off, and everyone was expecting to go right off the bat because that's what everyone's been doing every single week so far. And you just saw there, just contact from, believe that was James Vining into BJ Tidrick, and away they all went.
And Dennis Moore, Stephen O'Hare, Judd Wakefield, James Vining, Garber, Daggett, Paulison. A multi-car crash, if you will. By the way, aerial coverage is presented by LSRTV. Man, oh man. I wonder if the Northwest officials are going to be giving a warning to Lake Peterson, or Samuel, did he really do anything wrong?
I mean, right there, no. I mean, there was nothing wrong. He was just changing up his rhythm on when he was going to take off. It's on the leader on when they go, and the leader waited until the very last moment in the restart zone to take off. And for the rest of the field, it's been a lot of takeoff immediately when the pace car pulls off, and that's the way that everyone's been doing it for these past, I don't know, 5-6 races. And finally, Lake Peterson decides, you know what, I'm going to change things up. We're not going to take off immediately. And that whole entire outside lane and the inside lane not prepared for that type of a movement. And a lot of drivers have now gotten beaten up and are having issues. It's BJ Tidrick, who was up front. He's now getting out of pit road heavily damaged as himself, and many other drivers that thought that they were going to have a better run here, but because they were pushed back in traffic with the different drivers, decided to stay out. Caught up in a mess on the restart. And when you're on a track where it's cool and you got fresh tires, there's always a chance of a restart incident happening, and it struck here at Gateway.
Craziness on the restart, and you saw the outcome as those drivers were battling for that position. And honestly, it's just racing. It's just racing. Pick your box, pick your line, you fire. Remember, the leader has the right to go when he gets to that restart zone. Now, here's the thing, and it's just like in real racing as well, Samuel. There is a box, just like in iRacing. They try to mimic it. In the simulation, there is a box. There is a restart zone. There is a double white line or double blue line, black line, yellow line, red line, whatever you want to call it. There is that zone. Once you pass the single line, you can fire. When you go past both of the lines on the wall and you do not go, then everyone else has the right to take off.
Yeah, and you saw right there, I mean, a lot of drivers trying to time it perfectly to take off. And, I mean, for Sean Brightsman, smart move on his part. Just duck it low, recognize, you know, we're going to get jammed up here. But that outside line, they had nowhere to try to send off their momentum when they took off too early, and that's really where all that pressure built up, and away it launched. As we'll give it another go. But I don't see Lake Peterson making the same move again. I think he's probably going to just fire off right from the rip once
Samuel,
the pace car
he could
pulls
have been
off.
at risk of destroying his car.
Yeah, if he got ran over, there's a high possibility of that.
All right, we're ready to bring this field back to the restart zone. Lights, nope, they're waving off the restart. Lights are back on the pace car, guys. So they're waving off the restart. We'll set it up and go again.
Now, Wesley, you got to remember,
Yeah,
all
go
the
ahead.
drivers that made their pit stop there. It's going to be started out with Ryan Bloom, Kevin Smith, back in 9th and 10th position. So that's where the drivers that got the freshest of tires are going to be lying, is back in 9th and 10th. We'll see how well they can now rocket ship their way forward through this field. But these restarts, it's going to be the key on how well we can get going, if we can even go on a long green flag run.
Well, the lights are off on the pace car, so we'll see what goes on. We'll try this now with Lake Peterson, Dan West Jr. A very interesting opening second half of the race. And what have we passed 4 cautions now? 4? So the record was 5 for ARCA on Friday?
Yeah. And you know it's only going to ramp up more from here.
We might bypass that. Right, exactly. It's only up from here. There we go, just under 70 laps to go. 63 to be exact when they make their way back to the treacherous Geico restart zone box lines. Who's going to go? Come on, boys, play nice. Peterson fires. Everyone behind him. There we go. We're back underway. Brightsman opens the door to the inside. He's looking at Dan West Jr. for second into 1.
And look who's back in 5th and 6th position. 2 drivers that we haven't really talked about all day. Kate Anderson, that was involved with the wreck earlier on, as well as Chris White, who was 3 laps down in one moment earlier in the race. Now back on the lead lap and has a shot for a top 5 or even a top 10 finish.
How about that? Put Chris White back in the hunt. As the field working their way off of that corner. Look at this, Yee and Brightsman. Give way, guys, give way. Brightsman and Yee going at it. Hey, by the way, there's a new league coming. And we're excited about it in January of 2022. It'll be here before you know it. And we hope you can make your plans to join us for the Sim 500 Racing League and the Trans Service Cup Series. The premier, one of the premier iRacing leagues where even NASCAR ARCA superstars will show up and compete, or returning for the first time ever, or coming to your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Samuel, we're looking forward to that. That starts in February of 2022. However, my friend, there's going to be a 10-race winner weeks. Let me start over. A 10-race winner heat series on Monday night leading up to that. Starting in November.
Time, giving these drivers a shot to come in, race with one another for 10-week stint, and also giving us a little bit of a preview of what the Sim 500 drivers are like. Because we know what these guys are like in the Northwest, side by side, racing hard against one another. This is all 10th on back, just wadded up on top of one another.
Look at this pack of traffic working their way off of turn number 4. Hey, by the way, another program on LSRTV is Finish Line. And we look forward to that now. Finish Line is my Fox Sports Radio podcast, motorsports show, weekly 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Might go over this. Sammy Smith, winner of the 50th Winchester 400. Ricky Thornton Jr., winner of the $100,000 Lucas Oil Dirt Track World Championship late model finale. Bobby McCarty and Carson Quapple, Cars Tour late model stock and super late model champions. Keegan Leahy, the 2021 eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series National iRacing Champion. And also just confirmed the Undertaker, Chris Wilson, the modified winner of the Dirt Track World Championship. And that is all coming up on Wednesday. How about that lineup, my friend?
That is a solid lineup. Can't wait to watch it. Finish Line, great program. So happy that it's on LSR TV. Thanks, Wesley, for bringing it over. It's a joy to watch. I mean, the first episode last Wednesday, got to see great guests coming in, and each week you never know who's going to be on Finish Line.
Who will be on? You're exactly right. And next week, definitely want to get the SMB Cup Series champion Braxton DeWeese on the show, and then obviously the Northwest Cup and Truck Series playoffs when it is finally decided In addition, those drivers would love to have them
Yellow
on.
flag going to be waving, as I believe it's the drivers further back in that wadded up pack of drivers. As
Oh,
you see,
no.
Eric Cheney damaged up, and 76 not looking good currently.
Yellow flag out again. We'll find out what happened. Well, oh well.
At turn 4, just coming off of it, it is so dangerous, it seems like. I mean, we've seen drivers getting loose out of turn 2, such as, Jeff Stabnow and others having their issues and woes, but luckily they've got the grass to try to give them a little bit of time to hold on and save their car. But turn 4, when you get spun around that inside pit wall, it has destroyed many and has ruined a lot of nights, as another caution gets to be waved. And now, Wesley, another question of who wants to come into pit road?
Well, I would think everybody would want to come to the pits, but we've been fooled before, right?
Oh, absolutely. A couple of drivers further back coming into pit road, but those are drivers that kind of just been having off nights, and you're in the back, why not just come in, repair your car, and top off with fuel? Dan Lather, Jeff Stabnow, Aaron Cooper, Eric Cheney, all coming in to get some service done for themselves.
Question is, Samuel, do you think this is the money stop yet?
I mean, looking at the fuel runs for these drivers, I think they're inside of the window now if they want to come in. But a lot of these drivers have already come in and used 2 sets of tires. They've only have 3 sets to work with for tonight's race in pit road. So a lot of drivers only have 1 more set, and they want to make sure it is the last possible moment to try to use that last set of tires. And if you're coming in, you're not just going to top off. You got to take tires as well. Try to get an advantage. I would imagine a lot of these drivers, they want to make sure that last pit stop is in the last, probably when we're around lap 105 to 110, if possible. So they've got the freshest tires, and they don't have to worry about an extreme loose car late in the run.
Lake Peterson looking for that 8th win on the series. Looking to win and then just not come back until the championship finale. He done it in the last rounds of the playoffs. You can't say we blame him. It's his right, Samuel. If he wins, he can take off, come back, take off.
Yeah, I mean, technically you could win the race, then take off the next, few weeks and just
3
practice
weeks,
on
come
the
back
track
at
that you
Vegas.
matter. Yeah, I mean, you
That's
just
right.
go and practice at Vegas all that he wants and make sure that he is honed and sound on that course, and he's the best that he can be, because Las Vegas going to be a key factor to be up front. Track position going to be very important at that course, but at the same time, draft is going to keep everyone close. It's practically super speedway racing, but on a 1.5 mile course.
I wonder actually if that is actually what his strategy is. Win, advance, test like crazy, like here at Gateway. After he won the Indianapolis opener to start the playoffs. Well, this is going to be fun. And by the way, don't forget the trucks are in action on Wednesday. Samuel Dyer and myself back here with you. Friday, it is the next round of the playoffs for the Northwest ARCA Series. There's still a big pile of money up for grabs. And that will be at Chicagoland Speedway on Friday night. Myself along with Caleb Hall. Looking forward to announcing with Caleb. Me and Caleb have worked side by side on many occasions at Franklin County Speedway, Langley and Kim Austin's racetrack in Callaway, Virginia, in the Allegheny Mountains. He normally does a lot of scoring. And he's a fan of iRacing. Him and his fiancee Megan just recently had a baby, and things are just going really good for him and his life and his family, and looking forward to seeing what he can do. Pace car getting ready to drop onto the pit lane, Sammy D. And we have now lap number 90 being worked on, a 50-lap shootout, if you will, here at Gateway. Under the light, short track racing. Would you have it any other way? Green flag back in the air, and Lake Peterson is gone on the restart with his teammate Justin Yee behind him in turn 1.
Oh, he's got to be careful drifting up as Dan West Jr. trying to get a good run off the exit of turn number 2. And you see the wiggle. That's going to cost you a little bit of speed for the 55 and keeping Yee at the quarter panel.
And yes, Keith Bradley, the animal, helped us out for many hours, Charles and I, on working on the production for the first, a.k.a. SpongeBob, first production of Finish Line. So I want to give a shout out to our buddy, the animal, Keith Bradley. And by the way, NASRA is coming back in 2022 as well. We're looking forward to the return of the North American Sim Racing Association, where it all started. Down the back straightaway. Peterson, West, G, Brightsman, Anderson. Here they come, single file. Samuel off turn 4. Below the bottom of the racetrack, back up the speedway. Here we go. Place your bets. Samuel, it seems like in this last drop of the green flag, it just seems like the racing has got more intense. These guys are on the whip now.
Yeah, I mean, you got already 2 pretty good 30-lap stints to figure out your tires on how aggressive do you need to be, do you need to be lenient on your next stop or not. And right now, we're seeing that of Keenan Anderson just making the move. Caden's been doing a great job for himself, staying, having the mental fortitude. Yes, he was caught up in an early issue, but was able to come back, and now up into the top 5. Chris White, same thing. Caught 3 laps down, missed the starting grid, got pushed 3 laps down when he finally launched into the sim, and now is up in the top 10. But watch out for Kevin Smith. If this race goes green to the end, the Double Zero's got the freshest tires of all those that are in the top 10, and he's been the fastest when we're 30 laps into a run.
Working through the 5-hour energy corner in the 3 and 4. Back down the front straightaway. There's Kevin Smith, Chris White. Samuel, I got to say, man, props to Chris White, that undying spirit of starting this race 3 laps down in this virtual battle of man and machine, one of the playoff contenders. He could have put that White House Candle Company number 83 Ford into the trailer and said, I'm done. And instead, he just persevered. Right place, right time, tail end of the lead lap, lap back, caution, lap back, caution. And how about one more time, lap back on a caution. He is on the lead lap now. He is in the top 10, and he's one of the 7 drivers right now in the catbird seat that are fighting for a chase in the championship 4. Peterson out in front. West, Yee currently as they go to the back straightaway. There's Tyler King. He had a good run. As right now, Peterson and West go at it for second off turn 4.
Yeah, Justin Yee also keeping it close. These top 3, they're trying to figure out how to pull away from the rest of the field. They do not want to give a chance for Caden Anderson. I mean, Wesley, Caden Anderson came off of a suspension starting out the playoffs. He missed in the Indianapolis road course, was in a must-win scenario going into the playoffs, almost swept those 3 races that he showed up. Didn't win at the Indianapolis Oval, lost to Chris White there, but he's won the last 2 races in the Cup. He's trying to make it 3 in a row and also try to make it his 5th win of the season. His 37 has been the hottest driver in the Northwest throughout these past 3 or 4 weeks. He's trying to keep on that heat, currently in 4th and gaining quickly on our front 3.
Yee and Anderson right there for 3rd and 4th. Look at this. Oh, my goodness. Wow. It's Jeff Stab now. BJ Tindrick, 72. Verizon. Ryan Bloom, 25. Up the racetrack. This is going on in the top 15. This is for 12th, 13th, and 14th on the speedway. Jeff Stab now, renewed vigor, if you will, Samuel, trying to get back in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the heavy damage on the right side of the 72. BJ Tidrick doing everything in his power just to survive at this point, get a top 15 finish. But then, oh boy, just stabbed now. The tricky off of turn 2, the 24. That has been in his tough spot. And if we're seeing Jet Stab now get loose now, watch out in these next 5 laps. That 24, when he starts to get loose just one time, having a big fall like that, it just gradually gets worse and worse each and every lap. Jet Stab now's got to be a big worry that he might not have enough space the next time that he loses out of 2 to save that 24 car.
Closing in on lap 100. And the 40-lap shootout here in a couple of more laps as there goes Thurston up the outside. There goes Dennis Moore. Even after getting caught in an accident earlier, he's back in the top 10. Thurston's had a good run in his Chevrolet. Tyler King back up there along with James Vining. And they're racing kind of antsy coming off the front straightaway.
Yeah, this is the pack of drivers that were involved in that restart debacle where the whole entire outside line got caught sleeping and kind of overzealous when we got onto the restarts when Lake Peterson just stacked up the field and now trying to make the moves forward. James Vining, part of that crew, trying to help Tyler King move forward. And Tyler King, we have seen the 21 be fast in the trucks Wednesday nights. It's been the Cup cars where Tyler King's been kind of struggling for himself, but a great solid top 10 run currently for this 21 team. It's just trying to continue on with a great run. Missed out on making it to the top 8 was Tyler King, but hey, still out here running and still trying to get a solid finish for himself and trying to be the highest finisher of the Beaver State Racing crews. Saw James Vining get out of shape for the 333.
40 laps to go. Now make it 39 remaining when they come back around. Lake Peterson, Dan West Jr., Justin Yee, Caden Anderson, Sean Breitzman. Top 5, back to 1.
And Wesley,
Look
it's been
at
so
Tidrick.
interesting watching these guys racing here. I mean, we saw it on the ARCA side of things, but even with the Cups, turns 1 and 2, like I said, this is a reverse Darlington where turns 1 and 2 much narrower, while turns 3 and 4 a larger corner for these drivers. But turns 1 and 2, it's kind of like dirt tracking in a way where you have to pick and choose which lane you want to be in, and you're exiting out. You got to figure out and make sure that when you're exiting, you're not in the same, real estate of the drivers around you.
That's exactly right. What's it going to be? Because these guys are definitely putting it to the whip here down the stretch. Look at now Anderson and Yee. This is for 3rd. Shootout time.
And Wesley, this has been 30 laps of green flag run on these tires for the drivers that are in the top 5. Kevin Smith, this is usually around the time that he would be the fastest driver on track, and he is still doing that now. The 00 faster than our leader by 1/10, and the other drivers in front of him by 1 to 3/10 faster than them. Smith is the fastest car on track, back in 6th place, and he's going to be trying to move through this crowd as fast as possible, utilizing his 10-lap fresher tires than the drivers in front of him.
We are going to go side by side for our final commercial break. And when we return, we will take you to the finish of the Gateway 175. Anybody's race to win. Whoever gets it done, if they got one of those logos on their car, are punching their ticket in to Viva Virtual.
This is our series,
So many different pieces that you have to watch out for.
where the stakes are always higher,
$300,000.
where virtual meets reality,
How bad do you want it?
They're wasting no time getting at it.
where the best thrive and the flawless win. This is the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland, the face with the voice of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League that you hear simulcasted on the Community Radio Network. And that's what we want to tell you about. We are excited to continue the partnership of covering esports on CRN, just like we do with all the other broadcasts that I cover in real life, like MAV TV, Short Track America, Speed 51 TV, Fox Sports Radio for college, high school sports. The Community Radio Network does the same thing. In addition to broadcasting real athletics, we're excited to be the radio voice of LSRTV's coverage of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group, the American iRacing League, and special events along the way. It's very simple. On your web browser, laptop, tablet, or cell phone, go to wearecrn.com, click on play, and you are able to keep up with the action. It's very simple. The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Check us out when you can. Esports coverage from LSRTV on CRN, the Community Radio Network, wearecrn.com.
.30 laps to go when they come back around out of turn number 4 this time by. Welcome back to coverage from Gateway at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland here with you. There is Kevin Smith. He better go. He's in 4th. How about this, Samuel? As we move down to the final 30 laps, the top 10 have 6 drivers all at the front of the field, fighting for a win and to punch their ticket in to the Championship 4 at Vegas, led by Blake Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even just the top 10. It's our top 6. All playoff drivers put on a great show. As I believe back on the backstretch, Dan Lather might have had an issue for the 63, but up front, it has been all Blake Peterson. And Wesley, there's been a couple of drivers that have been eyeing up and possibly had a shot to challenge for that lead position. Caden Anderson has to be one of the favorites currently. That last time by, almost a full 10th faster than Blake Peterson. But I think for a lot of these drivers that are up front, our top 3, they pitted back on lap 63, which is going to be putting these drivers about 15 laps short of making it. Yes, there have been a lot of cautions that have come out, which has helped the fuel run just slightly here, but our top 3, they might not be secure to make it to the end. As you see that of Yee just making his way forward, he's already made his pit stop back on lap 106 and trying to unlap himself and make sure he's on the lead lap.
Lap 113 of 140. Samuel, late race caution, or do you think we're settled in for the finish, my friend?
I think right now we're pretty settled in to make it to the end, but with green flag pit stops, it certainly can change everything. Justin Yee making his pit stop again back on lap 106, I believe. Yes, that's where it was. He's making his charge, getting himself back on the lead lap, and now it's the question for the rest of our top 6. When are they going to come into pit road, or do they need to come into pit road? As I think Kevin Smith might be just about 5 laps to the good to making it. It's going to be close for the 00, though.
Look at this 3-car battle. This is for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, but 1.5 seconds and growing behind Blake Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, Blake Peterson, he just continues to baffle us, I think, each and every time he shows up to a race with how much he just finds the consistency. And, we kind of were thrown out there as possibly a mindset that he was having of, win a race. We know he didn't show up for the next 3 races in the round of 12, here for the round of 8. Shows up for Gateway, and might have been that Blake Peterson was putting in all that time trying to perfect this track, knowing, hey, I just need to win one of these 4 races, and I'm racing for a championship.
Across the line. There he is. The leader of the Bumblebee gang. And what a strong run for Lake Peterson. That Chevrolet on rails as he works his way down into turn number 3. What a drive, what a run. Anderson in a Chevrolet. West in a Ford. There goes Tyler King. Bloom. Ford of Stabnow. Jeff Stabnow, Samuel, back in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, Stabnow, what a recovery for himself. Used the fast repair extremely early in this race. Has had about 2 or 3 scary calls coming out of turn number 2. And somehow still out there on track and not heavily damaged, even with his scares out of turn 2. Just went into the grass, bounced up and down a couple of times, then got back on course. So luckily the 24 also has had some cautions that have been very helpful, just like how, you know, Chris White needed some caution to help himself out and a chance to recover after mistakes. That's exactly what has also happened for that of Jeff Stabnow. Cautions have allowed him to stay in the fight. Speaking of fights, we're seeing it right now. Drivers back in 14th, 15th, keeping it dicey between themselves. Eric Cheney, Troy Daggett, and others. Oh boy, Eric Cheney.
Oh, hold on. Contact Daggett into Paulison. Paulison, Cheney. Caution. Not out yet. It is not out yet.
Where's the leader, though? Here comes our leaders.
And there's the caution. And Paulison trying everything he could to get back going again on the grass. Caution is out.
Boy.
Look out in front of the field. Man. There's your
I
late
would have
race
much
caution.
preferred.
And with 20 laps to go, Samuel Dyer, this changes everything, brother.
Eric Cheney just getting aggressive here. And, you know, once you get late into these runs, you got different braking zones. Like I noted on earlier, you can change your brake bias on how aggressive you can be. Eric Cheney, extremely aggressive, bumping Stephen Paulson out of the way. And, you know, for Paulson here, yes, there wasn't a yellow thrown, but when he was getting back on track, I would have much preferred him to back up, get onto the off-axis road, and then take off, instead of racing back onto the racing surface where he almost took out some of our playoff contenders, and that would have been horrendous to see.
"20 laps to go. You wanted business to pick up? You got it.
Oh, man, I got to say, for everyone here, this is a worst-case scenario for Kevin Smith. He needed this race to stay green. The longer the run went on, that was when the 00 was at its strongest, but hey, now everyone is no longer in save mode. You're using your final set of tires, and it is all about being up front and winning this race to lock yourself into a championship, and Sean Breitzman stays out.
Wow. Sean Breitzman, who is one of those aristocrats of using late race crazy strategy, stays on the racetrack while everyone else comes down to the pit lane for the most part. Man, oh man, my oh my, Samuel, good or bad for Breitzman? What do you think?
I don't like that call. It's kind of similar to the way we saw, you know, Smith and others being caught staying out. I don't see what the, you know, gain is for Sean Breitzman. If there were more drivers staying out with him, yes, I would say this is a great call because you got a lot of lap traffic between yourself and being a barrier, but it is only Sean Breitzman and Eric Cheney that stayed out. That means you're going to have Lake Peterson right on the back bumper of Sean Breitzman. This is a kind of a worst-case scenario that could have happened for the 46 because Eric Cheney now goes on the on-axis road. It's just going to be Sean Breitzman all on his own, staying out.
Stephen Paulison, part of the caution. He stays in front of Sean Breitzman, obviously, but the man with strategy, oh my goodness. And Samuel, hey, here's the thing. Listen to this. He wins this race in the Bright Spot Boutique entry number 46 Toyota. He punches his ticket to the championship 4 at Vegas. He doesn't have to worry about trying to fight his way in. Remember last year, he had to win a race to even get a chance to go in the Cup and Truck Series to race for a championship. He, all the way down to the wire at Texas, he did it. Then he won Phoenix for the Cup championship. He missed it by 1 spot to be the runner-up in the points for the 2nd over Dan West Jr. in the Truck Series. But he put in valiant effort up here. He wins this race, Samuel. It's an open book shut case. He's in Vegas for a championship.
Yeah, trying to go back-to-back is the 46 championship-wise, and I'm just trying to scratch my head and figure out how does this strategy work out in Shaw Bryant-Spinn's favor unless it is a caution immediately when we start and the 46 is ahead, and that happens 2 to 3 times. And then we get into overtime, and you hope that you got enough tires to hold on to everyone else. But we have already seen, with a 30-lap difference of tires, how aggressive the fresh tires can be at sticking to the bottom side and really being able to make passes. Shawn Bridesman is about 60-lap older tires than the rest of the field. This is going to be almost an impossible hold-off, but you never know. We've seen miracles happen before for this 46 team.
Lights are off for the pace car. 16-lap shootout here at Gateway. You wanted the pressure cut with a knife on this Halloween season? These virtual warlords are about to go back to the whip. And this battle for Vegas is on. The win up for grabs. And look at this great talent that is up in the front. Samuel, the top 4, top 5, top 6 are all playoff contenders. 5 out of the 6 cars are in a run for a championship. Green flag, Bridesman, gone. Spins the tires, but got back going again. And the Brights Boutique Toyota sets sail off into turn number 1.
Oh, and you see Smith, he's aggressive. He's no longer saving the 0-0 on the outside. Watch the move for Smith.
Kevin Smith coming. And Bridesman holds him up, if you will. Up into the corner, side by side. Here comes Peterson. He'll throw the block on the bottom of the corner. Sideways goes Bridesman. They're 3 wide. 0-0 in the middle. 15 to go. Peterson, West. Look at Dennis Moore. Samuel up to 3rd.
Contact.
Holding it together. Look at this. Peterson, West, he's coming. Dennis Moore, involved in an accident on that crazy restart, remember. He's now up to 3rd. Lake Peterson out in front.
I mean, if Lake Peterson's going to win this thing, he might have to hold on for another couple of those shots. Dan West Jr. is throwing everything out there for this win. I mean, they're getting the pressure off in the first race of the round of 8. I mean, Lake Peterson, he dipped for the rest of that round of 12. That's what some of these guys can do for themselves if they can get a win. But Dan West Jr., he's got to reset, re-rack him, and go at this again. He's got to try one more time, maybe even 2 more times to give a bump to try to get Lake Peterson out of the way. But Peterson's doing just enough where Dan's not close enough to make a bump at all.
13 to go. Peterson and West, Moore, Smith, Samuel. Kevin Smith had a great restart, man. He was coming after him and just, I don't know, he kind of faded back there. A lot of maybe the contact, maybe some damage on the car. Messed it up the handling a little bit. He's fell back to 4th.
Yeah, I mean, most of that was because he was trapped behind and following Shawn Bridesman, who was on much older tires. And just about 5 laps that we've ran, Shawn Bridesman went from the lead now back to 15th. The 46 is going to need a caution and new tires if he wants a shot to even go for a win or even just a top 10 finish for that of Sean Breisman. But up front, I mean, Smith, he's going to have to do the same exact thing. And looking at the last laps, it's been Dan West Jr., the fastest of our top 4. But Kevin Smith is riling back. He's trying to make the pass for third, as up front, Blake Peterson is doing everything perfect, Wesley. He's not giving enough space. And Dan West Jr. just cannot catch up, but a yellow flag get a wave.
Wow, another caution. I think it's Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it, guys. It is Kevin Smith. 0-0 involved. And Sean Breisman also.
I don't know if Breisman was involved with
Samuel,
that,
did
but
Breisman
Smith
and
for
Smith
sure.
get together? Well, he fell back to 14th. Breisman's in 14th.
He fell back because of the tires. He was already back there. I don't. You could see the damage on Dennis Moore. Moore and Smith both made contact. They were racing for that third place position. And you can see the damage on the 44.
Yeah.
The question is,
we're trying to find the replay.
They were side by side racing with one another for that position coming out of turn 4, and then it all went up in smoke for both. But this is great for Sean Breisman. He gets to come in, take tires, and now we get to see what can he do with these final 7-8 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, Samuel, I didn't even realize that the front clip is gone on the 44 of Dennis Moore's car, and Smith right there in the hunt. They were fighting for it. We're trying to get a pulse popper instant replay. Hopefully we can find it. 10 laps to go and a caution.
I mean, this is playoff implications. I mean, Stephen O'Hare, he's been out of the race for most of this second half for the 41. He's going to finish back in 21st position. You now are going to be seeing Kevin Smith. How much damage does he have? Can he even recover? Sean Breisman's now going to have to make some moves forward as well.
There goes my pick.
And
Put a
Smith's coming in
valiant
as
effort
well.
up for sure. Man.
Well, Wesley, what this means is that Dan West Jr. is going to be much closer on this restart, and he's got another shot to just absolutely give a bump that he just needs to completely practically take out the 9 if he wants a shot here. Otherwise, Blake Peterson can run away with this thing in just 2 to 3 laps.
And look who's back in the catbird as well. The 21, Tyler King. Eliminated from playoff contention just last week or 2 weeks ago. But now he's just looking for a win.
And looking at the drivers on this pit stop, Kevin Smith, it looks like he did have a fast repair. So the 0-0 will be back out there on track, going to be back in 15th. Dennis Moore did not have a fast repair because he used it, like you noted on Wesley. He was part of that restart incident where the outside lane got completely calamitied with one another back around lap 72. And Dennis Moore in pit road going to get repairs done for himself. But now we get to see Sean Breisman. Does he have a heroic move here? With about, I believe we're going to be going green with 7 laps to go. Sean Breisman back at 13th. We'll see how many positions he can try to move up.
Lights are out on the pace car. You wanted to shoot out, you got one now. And obviously, Sammy D, a different outcome than what we saw on Friday night in the ARCA race for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I even said it at the end of the ARCA race. I thought this race was going to be a lot more caution-filled. And it was, we had that short little green flag run. Got to see drivers coming into pit road and making their pit stops for about a 60-lap run. But it's been a lot of cautions in the first part of this race and into the later stages, and the pressure's there. It's playoff racing. You got to get every position, every point matters if you're going to move on to a championship 4.
Did not disappoint. ready for the field to come back to the Geico restart zone. It will be a 7-lap shootout. And remember, overtime is still in the balance. Green flag, Peterson, West, can't get there. King to third, single file. White and Bloom there in the top 5. They're back to 1.
Oh, Dan tried again. He tried to get to the quarter panel, but just wasn't close enough. And Tyler King now going to be making the surge forward as they're 2-3 wide, battling for that 4th place position.
Into that 3rd turn, Peterson, West, King, here they come, all 4. Back to the line, 6 laps to go. You better start wheeling and dealing and showing what you got. Back to the front. Peterson, West right there. He's right there, Samuel. He just can't shut the door as he's to the back straightaway, a quarterback.
I mean, Dan West Jr. just 200ths faster, but that's not enough time. With the amount of laps that are left, the 55 needs to get closer, and the issue has been it's out of turn number 4. That's when Lake Peterson has got back on the throttle better, and you saw the shimmy there for the 55. Peterson just pulling away on the front stretch, and that is going to be the key. If you can get out of turn 4 better than Lake Peterson for that of Dan West Jr., he might have a shot at the 0-9.
Back straightaway, 5 to go, 4 to go this time by. Dan West Jr. inside Peterson. Peterson up the racetrack. Dan West, he had a shot. He couldn't get there, Samuel. This is to decide who's going to Vegas. Both cars, 1 and 2 in the playoffs, are back to 1, 4 to go.
He's close, though. He's figured out turns 3 and 4, but he's got to get going quick because Caden Anderson, who's in 4th, that's the out of Tyler King, gets out of shape. That's going to be an easy pass for Caden. But the 37 is the fastest car on track by over 2/10. The 37 is coming, but the question is there enough time?
Does he have enough time? That's the question. There's the interval. King slipped and Anderson licked his chops and pounced like a coiled cobra on his prey. 3 to go into turn 1, and a caution's out. Wow, I think it's, oh no.
There were a bunch of drivers further back that were shimmying back and forth, and they were struggling for most of the night.
What in the world has happened? And guess what? Shootout time awaits us now, Samuel. They got to go
overtime.
Overtime. Overtime, baby. Overtime.
I mean, Wesley, would you want it any other way?
No, sir. This is like hashtag more short tracks. We talk about the big short tracks and loving short track racing, and these guys on a virtual Monday night, if you will, doing like what we see at short tracks across America, battling it out. And here's this shootout here at another short track at Worldwide Technology Raceway for the Northwest Cup Virtual Series, and another who wants it more. And I'll tell you, they open the door now, Sammy D, for Caden Anderson. He will be coming hard on this green flag restart. The question is, does he go inside or outside on the leaders?
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be probably the biggest question here. I would imagine Lake would want to go to the inside and try to get going, but based on the drivers that are coming into pit road, believe the drivers were involved in that last incident, Sean Breisman, Stephen Paulson, and that of James Thurston, all having to come in pit road to get service done for themselves. But if I'm Lake Peterson, I stay low. I do not want to give anybody an opportunity to get below me and try to shove my car up to the high side. Got to stay low on the. I think that's got to be the pick for Lake Peterson here. But this is just giving another chance for Caden Anderson. I mean, you look at some of the previous short tracks that we've been to, and it's been the 37 figuring out how to get a win there. But will the driver that's been the most winningest all season long, that of Lake Peterson, clutch up? Or will Dan West Jr. find just a little bit of magic that he's been kind of missing? I mean, we haven't seen, Dan West Jr. win in quite a long time. You have to go all the way back to the middle of July when Dan West Jr. won back at Rockingham, the 55, wanting to win badly.
Got to remember, Caden Anderson got busted with a suspension, missed one whole week of competition at Indianapolis to start the playoffs. Then he had to rally back in, and in doing so, Samuel, he swept Iowa Speedway, and I believe he won another week after that.
Yeah, he swept Iowa, then he won at Atlanta last week in the Cup Cars.
That's it. Yep,
and
that's it.
He's trying to go for 3 in a row. Yeah.
Everybody had a nice little break off last week. Yes, sir. Everybody had a nice little break to settle themselves in, because here's the deal: we go all the way to the final now, the final 5 weeks of the season. And Samuel, it's hard to believe how fast this 32-week schedule has flew by. We're in the home stretch. 4 races after tonight.
It's been crazy. I mean, I hopped on board on the later half of, the season, but it's been a pleasure to be watching and covering these guys week in and week out. And, it is incredible to see, looking at some of the drivers out here. I mean, Beaver State Racing, Tyler King, Dennis Moore, Stefan O'Hare, that crew together. I mean, it's been cool to see them develop from the start of the season to now, how they're in the trucks a threat always. And also been able to see, Skeet Fleet Enterprise, Lake Peterson, Justin Yee, been just dominating up front whenever they show up in race, and they continue on doing it. But Wesley, look at the drivers that are in our top 5. I mean, in our top 10, you could say. We got a weird cast of drivers that have broken into the top 10 because of all the wrecks and different pit strategies.
So the lights are off on the pace car. Let's set it up for overtime here. Just like NASCAR, on a regular basis, the leaders come to the green flag. If they take the white flag, next flag ends the race, records or checkers. If they take the green flag and they get a caution before they come back around for the white, we go back, we try it again. 3 attempts will be made at a green-white checker. If on the 3rd attempt there is a caution before the checkered flag, then that flag ends the race. The lap is stopped based on scoring, and it is considered unofficial. Here we go, green flag. A little punt there by Anderson to Peterson. And we're back at it. Green, white, checker. West clears in front of Anderson. He's going after Peterson on the outside. He shot in the gap. Went too high. 3 wide, and they're making contact out of turn 2. And Tyler King spins. Tendrick wrecked. Cars wrecking. Caution out. Overtime. Take 2 coming out.
Ryan Bloom involved as well. Oh, no. Oh, it took out about half the field that was still running in that incident.
Wow. You knew it was going to happen. Can we get a Pulse Popper instant replay and show you what happened there? These guys on the front row battling? My goodness. What craziness just ensued.
Looking like we might have some software issues on our replays. We're not able to get them, but I mean, looking at our telemetry, looks like Tyler King in pit road.
I wonder what happened to him.
Tyler King in pit road getting service done. James Vining automatically took a tow for himself. Ryan Bloom now in pit road. That is looking at the drivers. I mean, you are hoping not to be involved in some of these messes. Saw also the 72 of BJ Tidrick heavily involved. He's got no front clip. And Wesley, we might be down to just our top 10 that are left on track on the rate that we're going, because, hey, we got another attempt of overtime.
This is the second attempt. Attempt number 2. Would you have it any other way, though, Samuel? Seriously.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is like Game 7, trying to get into the next round of the playoffs. I mean, this is what you're going for right now.
Postseason. Postseason. We're talking about baseball now. There we go. How about the Braves winning last night, coming back, winning 5-4 over the Dodgers? I love that. And then, of course, tonight, Boston annihilating the Houston Astros, 12-3. Samuel, that game was over.
Yeah,
game's done.
it was one of those things where, you know, as a San Francisco Giants fan, I'm just rooting for anyone that is not the Dodgers to win the championship. So we'll see.
Field will come back to the restart zone here in a few more laps. We started this race with over 25 cars, 24. And I think we have, what, 8 left on the racetrack? 9 left on the racetrack?
10 are on the racetrack currently.
Process of elimination.
And we got Stefan O'Hare, BJ Tidrick, both. We're looking for solid finishes for themselves. Now going to be snuffed out, and BJ coming out of pit road currently, but he's got to race his way to make sure that he doesn't go a lap down. And I mean, with the amount of cautions that we've been having, though, Wesley, Sean Breitzman, who has the freshest, the freshest tires out of everyone here, the 46 is now up to 6th position, and Kevin Smith, after being involved with the caution that put us into overtime, now he's up into our top 6. So we're starting to see drivers that needed a second shot. They're back into this thing.
Look at Jeff Stabnow back up in there. And here's the thing, Samuel. Peterson, West, Anderson, White, Breitzman, all cars fighting for a chance to go to Vegas for the Championship 4 are all in the dogfight here at the finish. And Kevin Smith as well, as you just mentioned. And I got to give props to to obviously Jeff Stabnow. A bad day for him, trying to make it turn good. James Thurston back in the hunt of things. Troy Daggett with a good run. Ready for the field to go for the second attempt at a green-white checker shootout. Remember, yellow flag comes out again. We'll come back and go for a third attempt. If they take the white flag, the leader takes the white, and there's a caution, the race is over. If we do it a third time, they wreck again before the checker. Wreckers or checkers, next flag, and lap will end the race. Here they come. Pace car ducks on the pit lane. Off of turn 4, back to it at Worldwide Technology Raceway, the Gateway, 175. Overtime, take 2, green flag. West gives room to Peterson. Peterson pulls away. Here comes a dogfight coming after him again in turn number 1.
Dan West Jr., a lot better on that restart. He decided to actually take the corner and not try to take out the 09, but it's now given an option. Here comes Caden Anderson into the mix, as well as Sean Breitzman.
Back straight away into that third turn. They'll come off of the 4th corner. We got one in the wall. Stabnow's in the wall. Cars are wrecking. Got into Cal Cooper. And the caution's out. Wow. Yellow flag coming off of turn 4. Peterson was hoping he would see the white linen. It's not happening. Attempt number 3 forthcoming here at Gateway. Jeff Stabnow into Aaron Cooper. My goodness, Samuel.
It is madness.
We have to go all the way back to Daytona. Daytona of this year, when Stephen Paulison won, to the last time, Samuel, we have had 3 attempts in a finish with the Northwest Cup Series. Wow.
Oh boy. I mean, wow. This is that is incredible. And Lake Peterson crossed the line. That is it. There's no other attempt. That was the final attempt in the Yellow Waves. Lake Peterson has won today's race and has
they
locked
called the
himself
race?
into the. Yeah, he won it.
Wow.
Lake Peterson's going to Vegas.
This race is over. I guess 2 attempts was enough and they had it. They are going to give the win to Lake Peterson. This race is done. Lake Peterson wins. Samuel, I always thought there was 3 attempts at a green-white checker. Wow. And Samuel, I'm sure we're not going to see him until Vegas.
Probably not, as he's already starting with a high five. Lake Peterson, I think a lot of the drivers here tonight just happy for tonight's race to be over, and for some, dreading Wednesday night for the trucks. Same track, going to be loose in those trucks, and
Here they
hopefully
come.
you found the setup.
You better get your burnouts in while you can, Lake, because it's time for the Northwest High Five Salute, and they're coming at you.
Oh, they missed.
They all missed him. They all missed him.
They're resetting. They're trying to build up that speed.
Trying to build up speed.
Oh,
Oh,
he gets
James
clobbered.
Thurston just tried to wreck him. Yeah. My, oh, my. So I thought there were 3 attempts at a green-white checker. I'm thinking that they might have changed that in the rule book. I could have swore there was 3 attempts at a green-white checker.
I thought so too, but hey, you only get 2 shots, and for Dan West Jr.
Here they come. Boom!
Oh, that's a good clobber.
This is from a faraway camera angle in turn 1. I guess this is what we can call the hang time cam.
Well, he's hanging.
He's stuck on the
stuck
wall.
in the fence.
Oh, well, he's stuck on the fence. He says, James Thurston says, it's okay. I'll go in reverse. I'll help you.
My engine's gone. I'm still going to give you a little bit of a tap. He's trying to get him off the fence, but it's too much.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
Dan West just gives Thurston a little glancing blow. All right. Unofficial results tonight here at Gateway. And my apologies. I thought it was going to be a 3rd attempt, and they said, hey, 2 attempts and it's over, so it's done. But, hey, you can't take away the excitement that this race provided with not giving one more chance to the shootout. Lake Peterson is your winner. Dan West Jr. is second. By the way, Lake Peterson, by virtue of winning, has punched his ticket into the Championship 4 finale at Vegas coming up in 4 weeks from tonight. Chris White is 3rd. Caden Anderson 4th. 5th is Sean Breitzman. 6th will go to Kevin Smith. James Thurston 7th. Aaron Cooper 8th. Troy Daggett 9th. BJ Tidrick the top 10. And by the way, Samuel, as you give the rest of the lineup, Peterson, West, White, Anderson, Breitzman, Smith, top 6, all drivers that were fighting from the playoffs to advance into the final.
Yeah, and as you look at the rest of the top 20, you got that of Stephen Paulson, Jeff Stabnow, Tyler King, Ryan Bloom going to be in 14th with James Vinan in 15th. Dennis Moore going to be in 16th with Eric Cheney in 17th. With that, Justin Yee in 18th, Dan Lather in 19th, and 20th, we find Judd Wakefield. But it's when we go to this stage, there he is, Stephen O'Hare, 21st position for the 41 team. He is in a hole. He's got to figure out how to dig out of this thing. And in 22nd, you got Casey Garber and Frank Harris finishing out your 23 car field.
Boy, this was a good one. We're actually going into a really extended overtime. We're going to take a quick break and stand by. We'll grab a word with our top 3 and knock out these interviews quickly here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Big congrats to Lake Peterson. to coverage of the Northwest iRacing Cup Series, the playoffs, and Blake Peterson punches his ticket to the Championship 4 finale at Vegas coming up in about 4 weeks. But for right now, we will talk to all three of these drivers that finished on the podium, getting their thoughts on the recap of this race. And first off, we talked to Chris White. Chris White had some mechanical tech issues coming on to the start, fell back 3 laps down, rallied, came back, got all of his laps, and he finishes on the podium in 3rd tonight. Chris, I know that for White House Candle Company, this car, it's got to be like a win, but your take of the race on the podium for 3rd.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Tough race out there tonight, and certainly not the start that I was hoping for. I'm going to chalk that up as driver error. I accidentally had the Ethernet cable to my PC tower in the back of my Xbox Series X, and I was sitting here waiting for the race to grid, and I just wasn't getting that grid button. All of a sudden, I heard on the broadcast that the guys were gridding and starting to roll, and I'm like, what's going on? So I caught it, and thankfully I caught it. It was frustrating. I was able to reset the server, get back in there. Luckily, it was just 3 laps down and not any more than that, but it was a hard fight. And long way to come from behind, and I did not expect to get up here, but it's good to be on the podium.
Yeah, and then Chris, once you got on the lead lap, it seemed like you were always surging forward. How was it trying to cut through this pack?
It was pretty tough. You know, I could have swore I would have had a good car here. It felt good. It felt like a strong car. It didn't feel like it would have anything for the 55 or the 09. Very tough to stay out of trouble. I was just kind of minding my own business because I was 3 laps down. I just had a strategy to stay out, caution after caution, get those laps back. Unfortunately, when I was 1 lap down, I had to make a pit stop because I was about 9 laps from running out of fuel, and I was like praying for that caution, and it came at the right time. So cutting through traffic wasn't bad. The car stayed clean all race. I don't even think I had any X's in this one. Just trying to work my way through to the front and be there at the end, and I certainly did that.
Well, Chris, what do you take? Final question. Thank your sponsors as well. What do you take from this race to help you for the truck race on Wednesday?
I like this track. It's a unique track. 2 different ends. Turn 1 and 2 are completely different than turns 3 and 4. I kind of like that flat track racing like 3 and 4 is. Not so much turns 1 and 2. A lot of heavy braking. The trucks will be a little different with an open setup because you can make any adjustment you want to. So it'll be finding that fine tuning it to to the way I like to drive it and see if we can make something work. But we'll look forward to it. And certainly got to thank White House Candle Co. On the car. Just launched the website for that today, actually, and whitehousecandleco.com. And go check it out if you're interested in candles and wax melts. Some good stuff there. And definitely thank you guys, LSRTV, as always in the booth. Great stuff up there in the booth. And Tom Denchel Auto Group, got to thank them for being on board, especially throughout the playoffs. So we appreciate everything they're doing.
Chris White will settle for a 3rd place. What a comeback. And I would even say he would be the hard charger of the race, in my opinion, from 3 laps down. He'll come back and finish on the podium in 3rd. Runner-up of the race, defending Truck Series champion, and the man that was just trying so hard to come after the driver of Blake Peterson at the end, Dan West Jr., Shelton Washington, number 55. You will settle for 2nd. Your take of the race here tonight at Gateway.
Oh, it was just a battle, man. It was awesome running with these guys up front. Felt like I had a little bit in the beginning, but Lake was just too strong after we got some laps going. So I felt like at that point we were just trying to just get points, right? Just get points and bring it home towards this top 4.
I mean, Dan, we saw on those last couple of restarts, you were diving it as hard as you could. How many times were you thinking, what if I just bumped the 09 out of the way?
Well, I did get into him a few times. Unfortunately, Lake is a hell of a driver, and he held on to it. So I felt kind of bad because, he's just backing the corner up a little bit like he's supposed to, protecting the bottom, and I'm driving it in there trying to go to the high side. But each time I don't know if you guys had seen it on the screen, but on the broadcast, but I hit him in the right rear, I think 2 times actually.
Well, Dan, your take of the finish of the race, obviously, man, you were just trying everything you could did the green caution hurt your run to try to run down Peterson, or was your car strong on the short runs for the restarts?
Well, in the beginning, I felt like I had a pretty good car, and when Justin was up there, I was trying really hard to get that lead lap so I can get that point right, and then I stuck it in the fence and wrinkled the side of the car up pretty good. So I felt like I spent a lot of time just running with a bent car. So once we got a good car under us, I don't know, man. It was just, I think at the end of the day, Lake was doing a hell of a job, and you just kind of like, take what you can get.
Sponsors, bud. On to the next one.
That's right. Effective Web Solutions, LSRTV. Appreciate everything you guys do, and Tom Densher Auto Group.
So Dan West. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I got to thank Jeff Stabnow for the paint. He does a hell of a job for me. Whatever I need, he gets for me. So I appreciate it. I'm pretty happy with the car. Thank you.
Yeah, the man, of course, out of Shelton, Washington, will settle for the second spot tonight, and that is the driver of Dan West Jr. It's Victory Lane we go from, of course, Klamath Falls, Oregon, picking up the win. He will now probably rest and test at Vegas for the championship. Shades of what he did in the opening playoff races, because he's also a busy man with other things. But congratulations, Lake Peterson. Another big win. Wow.
Yeah, I think a big win is the correct wording for that one. Definitely takes a lot of stress off going into this final week. I don't know. It's just a battle with these guys. Dan, I mean, if I just slipped up once, Dan was there, and along with Sean, Justin, Chris was coming up to the field pretty quick. I mean, you can't beat these short tracks. I feel like throughout the course of the run, you can move around, always trying to cover other people's lines, learning. I mean, personally, I feel like this is the best racing that the iRacing service has. And we've got a great group of drivers, so it's always fun. Always fun.
I mean, Lake, once again, your 8th win of the season and locking yourself to the championship 4 to battle for a championship. But, man, we saw you take a break. Are you planning on doing a similar thing for this round, or are you going to show up for all these races?
No, I'm definitely going to show up. I had internet issues the past 2 weeks moving into my new place, and so just trying to get everything organized. Wasn't intentional that I missed the last couple of races. I had internet. It was just kind of spotty, and I didn't want to disrupt the other playoff drivers knowing that I was in for the next round. So I was just biding my time till I got my internet figured out here.
I got to say, I commend you and respect you for that, for sure. Definitely. But punching your ticket into Vegas, does this make it so much simpler for you to just try to go after more wins? By the way, this is win number 8 on the season for you.
I mean, it's never simple winning them, because you got to nail the strategy and you got to be fast. And I mean, like I said, if you slip up once, I mean, they got you covered here. So definitely going to execute each race. I will say, in terms of aggression, I won't do anything to ruin any other people's races, but maybe get off strategy, try something different if I need to. That'll definitely be the plan for these next 3 races. See if I can't steal a few more before we get to the championship race in a few races.
Well, man, congratulations to you. Before we do let you go, thank your sponsors.
Yeah, I want to thank Skeet Fleet Enterprises, Justin Nee, Noah Sherwinski. Everyone here does a great job, extremely helpful. Noah hasn't been on recently, but he always gives good advice when we're practicing. Justin's extremely talented behind the wheel, and just learning from each other, I mean, you can't get any better than that. Tom Densher Auto Group, LSRTV, and then all of our admins that put on the Northwest Racing Series. I mean, pretty great community we got here, so it's 1-0 here.
He picks up his 8th win. He is now one of the 4 drivers of the Championship 4 that will battle at Vegas, and look out, Chicago, New Hampshire, and more. He's coming after more wins. The driver, of course, is Lake Peterson. Well, Samuel, we'll close things out here, man. Your final take of a wild race here at Gateway, the debut for the Northwest Cup Truck Series. First time ever at this place, in the playoffs as well. Truly did not disappoint.
Yeah, I mean, this was incredible how to utilize all overtime attempts, and we still finished under yellow. And now drivers have to reset and prepare for next week, Mile and a Half Racing Chicagoland, where drivers are going to have to worry about dirty air and trying to make sure that they're the front driver and conserving their tires for the longer run. It's going to be exciting, but for tonight, I think the biggest thing, Stephen O'Hare, you are in a hole. You're in the biggest hole of everyone else. You got to make sure you get a top 5 finish in at least the next 2 out of 3 races if you want a shot to point your way into the championship 4.
Yeah, those people that are in that hole better keep on climbing and try to keep themselves from getting dug deeper for sure. The next race for the Northwest Cup Series playoffs, it will be coming up next Monday night from Chicagoland Speedway. Don't forget ARCA Northwest, Caleb Hall and myself on Friday night from Chicagoland. That'll get it started. And we're back here Wednesday, of course, 11:35 Eastern Time with coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series and the Gateway 175 coming up on Wednesday night. You do not want to miss it on LSRTV, as well as celebrating 1 year on Community Radio Network, the voice of live sim racing. For Samuel Dyer, for Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, I am Wesley Outland, Scarface tonight. Hope I get to feeling better. And congratulations again, Lake Peterson, big win, going to Vegas. It's already done. The luck rolls on for 0-9 as he picks up his 8th win, second of the playoffs, and now he awaits to race for championship.